Hello everyone. Welcome back to more Artisan of Glimmith. We are making windows, we are connecting regions, we are obeying puzzle constraints. Overall doing the things that should be done in a puzzle game. I don't know, sometimes I think about, like, wouldn't it be nice if I edited these videos? I don't edit anything, like, ever, unless there's some disaster in the recording. Because it just sounds like work, and I do this for fun. And sometimes I think that leads to better videos, but they're certainly less exciting. And so you end up sitting here watching me struggle, which is a fun thing, but, you know, it's certainly a slower way to experience the game than watching an edited playthrough, where the person just always immediately finds the right answer, and they still explain, like, the logic of the puzzle, but you don't have to watch them struggle with it. Anyway, I don't know. This is only difficulty 3. I shouldn't struggle very much, but it's, I don't know, just sort of on my mind. What, you... This is a 25 tile puzzle. And there are 5 polyomino indicators, all of different shapes. So we need at least one more region of total size 5. But it has to be exactly one more because there's this. There have to be 2 regions of the same shape, and none of these are the same shapes. There has to be another 5 size region. Okay. Got it. And I think technically any of these regions could reach this. So we can't say for sure which one. Actually, maybe you can't. No, you could. You could look like that. Actually, that looks right, doesn't it? No. Yeah, no. That is no good. We could also have... Oh, that's crazy. What orientations does this work in? We could do that. Yes, that's correct. Kind of a big puzzle here. Shape bank. So we have only these shapes to work with. And there's kind of like a circular thing going around here where, like, each of these touches at least one of the Geminis next to it. And I think that means none of them can touch both, right? This one, like, it could, for sure. But I think what I mean is it might be impossible to do that. That might not be a valid solution. Because you end up having to do something like, you know, this. And then this one needs to be an S as well, while this is a T, and you get like this. Yeah. Well, I thought I was going to run into trouble when I, like, wrapped around into this region. But actually, I think this is just... It doesn't even work in here, right? 'Cause this... If this touches this, I think there's just a problem. Because then this has to be part of an L, so this S has to go like this. This has to be an S while this is a plus, so you get this. That's all forced. And then this doesn't fit, right? So this has to not touch this space. There's a couple ways that could happen. Right, it could go like this, or it could go like that. I don't know. But the important thing is it goes up here. So this is an L, and this is a line. So this has... No. Okay, yeah, that's possible. We could do that. Whew. Just barely. I thought this was going to be impossible. And if this is a plus, while this is an S, you need that. This plus feeds back in here. You got to do that. And that. And that. And that. So if this is a plus... Not sure. This is an L? Seems like there's a number of ways that could work. Well, so there are two orientations of the S. Is this one any good? Yeah, that looks fine, right? Hello? Okay. I guess because I filled it in partly with bars and partly with glass, it didn't know I thought I was done. Rows, windows. Well, I'm pretty sure we have to get to here. We don't necessarily have to go any further, though. I think we will have to, but... Yeah, because, okay, let's look at this region, this big area down here. It's how big exactly? 8 by 9, plus these little nibs sticking off, is 72. And there's only 5 regions, each of which are like, you know, 5-ish in size. Like 25 total. So we need like 50 of these cells taken up by these regions. So they do have to come down. But it's important to prove that before you just do it. It also... The orientation of these regions is fixed, right? I just can't imagine. Like, technically, while it looks like this square corresponds to this one, and they're like, you know, mirrored along this axis. Technically, if the rest of the puzzle were suitable, although I think this one isn't, it could be that, like, you know, there's also this kind of pincer-like shape down here, and this space on the yellow one corresponds to a space down here on the orange one. But, like, on this puzzle, that doesn't seem true. So they correspond here. So the fact that there's a wall here means there has to be a wall there, right? For example. Each of these has to... The polyomino has to be part of the region that includes the orange it is next to. This one technically could reach here, but then the square would be stuck. So which of these... I mean... This square... can't reach here. So this square must be owned by one of yellow or orange, or yellow, one of our big grabby regions. Let's make them purple, or blue and green, I guess, to contrast with the autumn tones the rest of the level has. Those go together. Yellow can't reach up here. But I don't actually know which... Well, okay, one thing I was wondering is, what about this tile? Is it necessarily yellow? Or could, like, I guess there's a lot of reasons it has to be yellow. The first one I thought of is like, okay, well, maybe blue could get in there, but that gives green an impossible shape. But there's another reason, is if this weren't yellow, how do you make this into an L piece? Well, only by going like that, and then there's no room for green. So yellow has to go there. And then we can wall this off. And this. So now one of these two has to turn inward, and if one of them turns inward, they both have to, so we have that. And since green is expanded, blue has to. Pretty much anytime I make an advancement with one of these two, I can mirror it in the other, because I know they're the same shape, and I know how they're oriented with relation to each other as well. I'm gonna use purple for when it's one of the big regions, but I don't know which one. Actually... Is that true? Are there any spaces in this grid where, like, if you drew blue to that space, you would have to draw green to there as well? I think there must not be. Because if so, it would be kind of along an axis here, and I think there'd just be too many such squares to fill in properly. Because the problem would be, like, let's say, I don't know. Yeah, there just isn't. If green were shifted down by 1, this whole, like, center line or diagonal would be untouchable by blue and green, because they would correspond to the same... If blue went there, green would have to go there, and vice versa. But with green shifted up as it is, I don't think there are any such cells. So, okay. I mean, could this be this guy? Could he get all the way up here? Maybe if we did that... Like, just barely, right? And so for that reason, I don't think I can fill this in as purple just yet. What about you? There's only a couple orientations for you, right? We could either go like that, or... Oh, it's so confusing. Like that. Those are the two orientations. But neither of those touches this cell, right? Yeah. So this cell is green, which means blue has to come out to here. And that tells us a lot about red. Red has to go down, and that means this is the 3 long bit, not the 2 long bit. So the orientation of red is now known. It's this. And now we know the orientation of orange as well. This has to be part of blue, does it not? I think so. And also, like, we have to get blue and green down into this corner somewhere, because like I said, this has to be blue or green. But the only way in, now that red and orange are fixed, is through here and here. So I can draw, I can say green has to do this. Well, it has to get in the neighborhood. at least this far, right? And blue has to get in, like, at least to here. And that, let's see, this corresponds to here on green, and this corresponds to here on blue. That should constrain how these other regions can grow. Don't we have... This yellow can't reach here, so blue is like that, which corresponds to this on green. So now we know this. Really? This wall on blue corresponds to this, doesn't it? No. I think it corresponds to this, which I already had. Yeah. These two gaps correspond to each other, so nothing is forced in there yet. But... Okay. So, could yellow fit in here? How much of it could fit in there? Some, probably. But it's really hard. I'm bad at visualizing shapes in my head. Figuring out what orientations this could have and how they correspond to this is just... Ugh. It's not an easy shape. But surely it can't reach here. Yeah. That's true. So blue goes there, and green goes there. And this is also unreachable, so we have this. And, okay, now I can say something that I could have done from the beginning, but it was sort of hard because you have to mirror shapes in your head. But whoever gets down here, how could green get there? If it steps this way, blue goes this way. So blue gets there first. It wins the race. And that tells us the orientation here of this. And that should fix the orientation of this middle yellow. Not a lot of choices. We have this, don't we? No? These... I do have this, though. That corresponds to this wall here. And the only person who could reach this would be yellow. This is not an orientation I was considering. Okay, so it's vertically mirrored and we do that. Okay. I guess I already did that one. Oh, hello. A little 3. I wonder why they use Geminis here and not just putting like another P shape up here, because that would be the same. The wall already tells us they can't be the same region. And since I know what shape it is, the Gemini tells me what shape this is. Weird. Well, okay, those two are kind of easy. This P can't be the stem. It has to be the bulb, right? Yeah. And if it's stuck up, this couldn't be another P, so it must come down. And now, yes, you could draw a P like this, but you'd be leaving this out, plus you'd be breaking this Gemini. So that's the bulb, and that's the stem, so that I still have space for a line here. I guess we have to go that way to leave room for this P. This has to be a... Nope, not a line. It has to be a P. And this is the stem, clearly. So it comes down here and then goes to the right or the left, but if it went to the right, this would be orphaned, so it goes that way. Funny enough, whether it's a 3 or a P, you have to fill these in, right? And if it were a 3, this would be a 3 as well, but it clearly isn't. So this must be a P. And now I know what shape this region is. And it has to be the same region as this one, right? How could it not be? Correct, it must be. Okay. Which you can only do in this way. That's got to be a 3, so this 3 goes like that, and we're done. Hey, the window has exploded. I made it gold! Great. There's a 5 there. What else is left in this region? Another 5. Just taking inventory. Oh, you are sneaky. I remember I did these. I think it was yesterday. So I've got a couple 5s. Oh, is there something in there? Nope, just a door. Okay. I have lost the 5s I found. There's one. Boy, a lot of these symbol thingies here. Okay. And I guess it's going to be one of these cases where the center region is either resolving the ambiguities in the side regions, or the side regions are resolving ambiguities in the center. Who knows which. It's interesting that they had to put a delta here. Because I already know this can't be a 2. So if this were a 2 region, this delta would be kind of uninteresting, wouldn't it? Well, okay, over here we have a lot going on. Can't go to there. So you have to come here. This must be the same shape as this. As this, I mean. So it can't really come up to that one. So it has to come down here. Which means you're going here. So I guess these then are squares. Boy, this is a big region we forced into here. Look at it. This... What part of the L is this? I think it has to be the corner, right? One, yeah, in some orientation. Because if it were this piece here, you could only draw it like that, which doesn't have enough symbols, or that, which doesn't have enough symbols. And if it were this piece, you could draw it like this, which is messed up, or this, which is messed up. So this is the corner of the L. So we have this, and then it sticks out more in some direction. So this has to come down. Okay, well, maybe I can solve some more of these side regions. Because it turned out this one was solvable all by itself. So maybe each of these 4 is resolvable, and they didn't dictate how you fill in the middle. That's got to go like that. You got to come down, so this is done. This has to be a 3-piece corner, so it goes like that. This has to go like that. This is wrong. Okay, try again. This has to go out. This has to come down. This has to get out. This has to go here. This can't grow anymore, so it's done. So this is done. So this has to come here, but then this has to come here, and they're the same shape, which is forbidden. How can this be? This has to come out. This has to come down, because it can't go there. It would see another blue. That's not permitted. This has to come down, because it's got to find an orange. So this can't merge with that, because there'd be another blue, or go down, because there'd be another blue. So it goes like that. Oh, I could do this! That's what I was missing. Okay. Now, here's a case where this region is not resolvable on its own. It needs input from this region. So the information here flowed from the corner into the center. Here it's going to flow from the center into this corner, I guess. Because you could do this, have a T and an S, or you could have a P and an I, basically, right? So I don't know which. Okay, how about over here? This is the only blue we can reach. This is the only red I can reach, or orange, I guess I've been calling them. Maybe they're red, who knows? Well, okay, I guess I already have enough information from the center, actually, to flow down here, don't I? I couldn't make a P, could I? I guess I could. Could look like that. Yeah, okay, so I don't know yet. Okay, where was I? Over here somewhere. So this one has to come here then, which means you have to go there, and you're done. You can't be a corner, so you have to go like that. This has to be the same shape as this, so you've got to go like that, and I have this. Now there's a T piece here? So it's like that, and then grabbing one of these oranges, but I don't know which. Okay. What red are you gonna reach? You could reach this one, but it seems difficult, doesn't it? Yes, because then you couldn't satisfy the Gemini. Thank you for pointing this out. And if you go here... Well, that's fine, isn't it? But then again, you can't satisfy the Gemini. You'd have to do this, and it still doesn't fit. So it has to reach this one. Which means you have to reach, well... If you reached here, this region would be the wrong shape, so you gotta go there. So these two have to meet up. And I think here, again, I need feedback from the middle to know how to do this corner. because... Well, wait a minute. No. The fact... Okay. This and this being a Gemini restricts somewhat how I could fill this area in, but not a lot, I think. Like, I could do this. That's possible, right? You know, let's fill that one in purple, and then it'll be nice and clear. This is possible, and it would put a corner piece. Okay, so okay, got it. That's why you can't do this, because a corner piece here can't touch an orange one. And an S piece can't either. So doing this doesn't help you. You have to take this square. And then maybe you take this square, maybe you don't. This corner area can compensate for whether in the middle we have to use this space or not. But now we know we need this. And so the shape of this T region has been solidified. And now I know also, I guess I always knew probably, that this L, well, I didn't know. Wait, this is impossible. Shoot. Have I gone wrong again? How is this supposed to be a long L? I can't fit a long L in here to save my life, right? So, maybe I messed up this region at first. Maybe there was another way to solve it that would leave me more open in the center. And I know now, like, the fact that I've drawn this in is dangerous, because maybe that's wrong, and I have to go back and redo everything. I hope not. This has to go over and come down. This has to go here. This red has to talk to this blue, because if this blue tried to get out some other way, the red would be stuck. So it has to go like that. This red can't just go straight over here, because I can't put a straight line from this corner. It doesn't touch enough symbols. Now, it could go over here and up. That might be fine. But it can't just do this. And so, in particular, I think it has to go up. Maybe if everything I did in the middle is wrong, maybe it could like look like a plus, but then this would be stranded, right? So I don't think so. I think this has to go up. So you're now stuck. You're finished. And I mean, yeah, maybe I could do this. No, because then this Gemini would be messed up, right? This Gemini to here is why this guy can't reach this one. He has to go there. And I have a long L again. But there definitely can't be a long L in here. Maybe there could have been a long L in here all this time? I think that could be true, actually. think making these squares still makes sense. Because the long L could go over this way. And why couldn't I do this? Right? These are the same and different from this, and then this region I just fill in with whatever. Actually, leave this blank. I might want the thing to go down even further, right? And that leaves room for this, like, other region that no one specifies the shape of at all. And then I can make this an S, so that's an S, and that comes up, right? Yeah. I wonder why I thought this L couldn't go out here. I don't know. A big puzzle. This 4 can't be horizontal, so it's a vertical. Likewise this one, but I don't know which direction it goes, so I can't fill in any specific square, I don't think. This square has to come down, this one has to go out. So it can't do that, so it has to do this. This square, I don't know. It could do this, but it could also do that. Oh, mingle shape. God, I'm going to forget about mingle shape so many times. It's a hard constraint. This S has to come this way. And this has to take at least that square, because if it tried to go avoid it, it would be a mingle shape problem. This plus is crazy. There's only one way to do it. You gotta do that. Now I know how you're oriented. This can't go any further up, because if it did, it would be adjacent to another 4. So it's got to go that way. This can't continue over here because it would be an L, so it goes up. That's a square. If I tried to make this an S, I'd be stuck. Oh, also it's the same shape. So it must come up and become an L. This S, there's 2 orientations. This is one, but the problem is it messes up this corner. And this is the only other orientation for an S that could work here. Don't know. This looks like it still could be an S. But it can't be an L, because it would have to look like this. So in fact, it must be an S. This L can't turn here, so it has to keep coming down. And now if this turns down, it's an L next to an L. And, okay, more importantly, we gotta fill that square in. This can't go finish that L because of shape mingle, so it's gotta go that way. This 4 can't go up, and it could only go 2 left, so it's got to go 1 right. There's just the space, rather, to make this a square and an L here. But you could also have the L go this way and the I fill in, I think. You could do that, but watch what happens if you try. Now when you fill this in, you got to go straight, putting two I's next to each other, or up or down, putting two L's next to each other. So in fact, you can't do this. There does have to be a square here. There are 6 cells here, so we need something to escape by 2. If we went out to the plus, we'd have to escape by 3, right? Or by 1, both of which are a problem. So whatever escapes has to come this way and then do that, and then we can, oops, finish like that. Okay, nice, doing a nice clockwise pass over the puzzle. It has cooperated. We can't get out of here with a line or a square, and S leaves blanks. I think all we've got left is L's. And this L would be pretty bad, because I couldn't make this S work. So I think it has to be that L, which means this has to be a line. Yeah. There's one more in this area, just this one, I think. This one was in the demo. This was the this was like the hardest puzzle in the demo. And I struggled with it. I got through it. But I made some false conclusions and had to do some backtracking, I recall. The basic idea of this one is that each of the kind of corner regions, the outer regions here, has exactly 2 solutions. Each of which leaves a different shape here at the Gemini. And so you have to... I mean, we can go through and like double check that that's still true. But like, for example, here's how you get the L here. Here's how you get the S there, right? How would I get an S here? It would be like that. Nope. Wait a minute. Like this. Right, and then this one isn't part of a polyomino, but it's still allowed. Or the plus can go here, and then we get this. So I'm just checking real quick that indeed all of these have exactly 2 solutions, one which goes each way. We can do this and that, get the T there, or this and that to get the line there. We could do that, or we could do that. And I still have this one to go. We could do that and that, or nope, that and that. Yes, so it's still true that each outer region has exactly 2 solutions, one corresponding to each shape the Gemini could have. So we have to look at the inside of these Geminis and see what combinations of shapes we can actually solve the center with. And I remember this part down here being... I started up here and it took me a lot of wrong turns. It seemed very open-ended. I think what happened was I thought that at least one of these had only one solution, and I didn't get it first. They all had 2. So I thought I knew what shape something had to be when it didn't. Well, okay. This can't be a line. That's crazy. Which way does it point? Up here? Can't put a line in there. Here? this doesn't have room, so this just can't be a line. You have to take the L solution to this region. Now, you can't necessarily draw this L in any particular orientation, I don't think. There's some you can rule out, like it can't do this, but it could do that, maybe. And an S here is a little bit restrictive, right? We could do this, but that's all we could do. Still, it seems to work. What about if this were a line? How happy would we be with this? I'd need a square here and L here. How much space is there in the center? Am I completely filling it with these regions, or is there some wiggle room? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. I'm completely filling it. Okay. So that's, for example, why you can't do this. This would be unfilled, and there would be too little space to put in all the other forced polyominoes. Tetraominoes, I guess. Now, okay, whether this is a T or a line, it has to go that far. That's true. And we need this as well, right? Because a square does that and an S does that. So it's just this square that's in debate. That restricts this L a little bit. Okay, sure, fine. What about up here? Could this be a plus? If so, it would be this plus. Then I'd have an S. And I guess an L, a square, and a line. Yeah, that works. So from this, I can now feed that back into all of my little side regions. This has to be a plus. This has to be an S. And this one needs to be a square. Okay. A lot easier the second time. Yeah, I mean, there might be a hidden one around here somewhere, but everything easily visible is done, so let's get in there. See what... I mean, I've done this at +3. Are there like always +3? Is 3 the number that are hidden every time? Like there's 2 here. Did I miss one? 2 here. 4 here. Okay, so it doesn't look like it's necessarily always the same. So what new mechanic is waiting for me over here in the swamp? These are like swamp trees, aren't they? No, nothing. I thought this was blue. You're supposed to teach me something. Okay. I mean, puzzles always teach you something. But I thought there'd be a new kind of rule. Well, this red can only get out by joining up with us here, I guess. You've got to go there. I think you have to get this one, because how could you not? You could do this and you'd be happy, but then this guy would be stuck, so you've got to come here. This yellow has to go over here, and it has to get to this red. Could do this or that, though. This or that, I should say. You have to take this blue. So there's only room for you to go up by at most one. So this guy has to take the corner square. Okay, I don't know how these are connected, but they're connected. And it doesn't reach down here, so I can do this actually. You have to get to a blue? Well, it had better be that one. You have to come here. You have to get to a blue and a yellow with your remaining 2 steps, so it has to be these. You have to go up, therefore, and you gotta come this way. You gotta do that and that. Good. Actually, I don't know this yet. Well, how could this yellow survive if it didn't go up? It could reach an orange, but it can't reach a blue. So we do have to take this one. And this yellow's in a similar spot. It could reach here, but it can't get to a blue, so it's got to go that way. To get to a blue, you have to go up, and then down to shed your excess space. You have to get to a blue. This is the only blue you can reach. And then you need one more space, which can't be this one because it would leave a gap. Cool. I've completed the final puzzle in the town area, it says. Including hidden puzzles? That was a Steam achievement that said that. You couldn't see that because I don't have the overlay being captured. Okay, now we're into a new area. New rules. Area of a region. I see. Was this in the demo? I don't remember. It's the kind of thing I could easily imagine having seen like one of or something, but I don't think so. So these are the same region, right? Is what's going on here, I think. Yeah, they have to be. This is a well-known puzzle type, isn't it? Like, I don't know. I mean, a lot of the things in this game are. I'm not a pencil puzzle expert, or a paper puzzle expert for that matter. But I have on my phone Simon Tatham's Portable Puzzle Collection, an excellent free puzzle game that you can get on pretty much any platform. And it has like off-brand versions of all the popular puzzles. Like, it doesn't use the names. It won't call anything Sudoku, right? It calls it Solo, but it's Sudoku. And it has one that's like this. What is? And I don't even know what the real name for this is. I'm looking at. Is this range? How to play. Grid squares. Some contain numbers. No square with a number. Yeah. No, this is not. It's not range. I mean, it's not that even interesting for you to. Okay, here. It's filling? It's one that they call filling? Each connected region of squares, all containing the same digit, has an area equal to that digit. Yes. So there you go. It's called filling. I'm sure there's a Japanese name for it because they're sort of, or are or were kind of leaders in the logic puzzle design space. but I don't know what it is. I didn't know what the Simon Tatham name was either, but now I do. It's filling, so this is a filling puzzle. This 7, it's gotta get out, right? Like, even if it took all of these squares, which it definitely can't do. Oh, more simply, the 5 has to do that. Okay. Now, am I allowed to have that? I am. So this only the regions with labels have a specific requirement. There could be unlabeled regions, just like with polyominoes. This 7 needs 4 more, which has to be those 4. It's a very orange window today, isn't it? Really? A 6? Has to be like... No. Can't be like that. Has to do this, actually. And leave a 1 region in there. So they're forcing me to learn this. If I hadn't had the curiosity to think of it myself. 4's got to go like that, 2 like that, 6 there, 4 there. 21. Well, that's quite large. I don't actually know that it takes this square. I know it gets to here somehow, though, and then does this. I mean, right? Like, I haven't counted to 21, but I assume it's this. Yeah. What do you think? Downstairs to the river, I guess? Or into the swamp? I guess I'm a swamp boy. Oh, what is this? Palisade. Oh, I remember what was in Elliot's video kind of announcing the upcoming release and the change to the release date around Slay the Spire 2. He said this was his favorite puzzle type. So what is the deal with this one? The shape that must be made by the borders of that cell. What are you talking about? What does that mean? I see this picture. Huh? Oh. So, like, okay. This one here, you've kind of got a, like... This shape is intended to be like a depiction of this, the whole cell that it's in. And it's saying you need 2 opposing walls filled in. Here you need a dead end. Here a corner, and here another dead end. Okay. So this is 2 opposing walls, which means I already have that. So you have to go like that. And all regions must be this shape, huh? Well, okay. Right, that's why I can't do this. It's fine for this region, but now I can't make a 3 out of these guys, so we have to do that. Okay. Take me further into the swamp, please. 2 opposing walls, and we already have this one. So there's got to be a wall there. And we need 3 lines, so we got to do that. Yeah. All regions must be that shape. You're crazy. Okay, no problem. You can merge 2 cells immediately whenever Palisade clue shows there's not a border between them. Yes, how could I do that? Like that. Yes. I mean, obviously. Isn't this just like, remember, you're playing the game. So you have 2 opposing walls, But there's no wall here, so there can't be a wall there, and there are walls here. This needs walls on a corner. So it has to be here or here, but it can't be a wall blocking these two. This has two opposing walls, so I can do that. Oh, right, it actually can't be here, because these two regions already have a wall between them, so they can't be connected from another point of view. There has to be a wall in all perspectives. Also, this one has to be in a dead end. You have to go there, and that's a dead end. Oh, a little 2. All regions must be area 5. Well, better pick that space up. And if I picked this up, I'd be chopping these 5 cells up, so I have to go that way instead. On a corner, so you can't go there. These 3 have to get out, so they've got to be there. This has to come out. This has to be a dead end, and so it can't face south, because if it did, there would be only these 4 regions. So there has to be a wall here, which means we do this, and I guess that. Remember, a single region can never touch both sides of a border. I know, yes. Dangling border ends are forbidden. Okay, show me an example of what the hell you mean when you say dangling border ends. I guess this is just done. Nope, way too many walls. It has to go up. Excuse me. There you go. So I think actually what the blue light beams mean is like this will unlock more puzzles, maybe. This is a prerequisite to some other puzzles. Which often is because they're teaching you something new, but could just be because they want a guided introduction to an area, right? Like I had to do that 5 before, which was, I guess, in a way, like that was kind of the final exam for the previous area. It wasn't the hardest puzzle, but it was like you have to have reached this level of competency to move on into the new area. And then once I had done that, there were more blue lights because it was actually teaching me that mechanic. That makes sense. I just thought the first blue light would be a new thing, but okay, I think I understand what it means now. And of course, there's no guarantee that it has to mean anything, really. Right? You know. You go there. The game has not yet said, this is what this means. And so... you're a dead end? So I guess you gotta go that way. So if they changed it to use it in some other way, the game won't be like lying to me. But it seems like in trying to understand why some of these are blue, this is my current hypothesis, my best understanding of what it means. And surely it means something, but maybe not quite what I think. In these puzzles, you may find it very helpful to use edge drawing. Yeah, I know. Thank you. Oh, I no wonder they've all been like red. I've been on red mode the whole time. Okay, fine. Oh, well. You are pretty clear. Okay, and now I'm into a new area where I'm free to do things in whatever order I want again. I've learned enough about Palisade to be trusted with the swamp area. this. Yeah, I mean, the Palisade clues they seem fine so far. I'm definitely, like, not yet done understanding them. Like, I do, yes, I understand what this is saying to me, but I don't immediately know, oh, okay, here's what I should do. Like, there's still more learning to do. More getting used to them. Acclimating? These have to join up, actually. Wait a minute. How do I know that? Ah! Because if these two regions joined up, there'd be a wall in the middle of a region. Got it. A lot of threes. Or dead ends, I guess. Precision 3. So that means, actually, a lot. None of the dead ends can open up into another dead end. Because then we'd have to have walls on both ends, both sides around both of them, or all sides around both of them. So that can't happen. It's a heart. It was a heart-shaped puzzle. Wait a minute. Come back. Look at that. I know there was a heart-shaped puzzle earlier, maybe in the demo, maybe early in this game. And there's a Steam achievement for, like, complete a heart-shaped puzzle. So maybe this is a theme. They have several of these, and, like, this is the second I've noticed, but maybe not the second I've done. I think the demo had the heart, right? This is a corner, so it's got to do that. We have all 3x2s, so the corners have to stick, like, do at least that. So now I know the orientation of this one. You've got to reach out there. This is a corner now. This needs a wall, so we're going that way. This, no, has to come down. This has to go up there. This needs a corner, so we go that way. And there's a corner here. Yeah, that's got to be like that. And that. I have no idea how long I've been recording. Probably too long. But I'm having a good time learning new things. I have to go in a little while? What time is it? I have to go in like half an hour, 45 minutes. Maybe I will call this episode and I'll just start another one and I'll leave in 45 minutes. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.